Race number 6 at HQ is the Renown Silverware. Shout out to John Hawke Pace. Over 2240. That's not actually there's no shout out to Hawkey there. That's just a shout out from the boys on the pod.
Hawkey. Oh, sorry.
Race 6. This is an interesting little race. J-Bon, I've got some thoughts, but let's get yours first.
See, this is where I'm already regretting. Well, I'm glad you didn't go with everything bar at Capital in the first leg of the pod quad, because
in hindsight, I agree.
Have a look at this leg. This is the one that'll kill you. Like, this is what a mess this is. I
tell you, the first thing I'll say is that Climb Menace, actually, I nearly black booked it off that last run. Nearly. It was a good run.
Really?
Who's driving one? Jack Law, because Julie Douglas has got the Giggler's on it, and Julie Douglas has got a whole army. So there you go. Climb Menace definitely goes in.
All right. Let's go through a few quick questions. Does Aussie Battler go forward this time? Had a little crack against Rory Village.
No, I don't think it does, to be honest. The longer the longer the horse's career goes, I've noticed, J-Bon, from out wide, it's not going forward as much. So,
no, that's true. And I don't know whether he's not as quick or he just doesn't look as quick. But you remember once upon a time, it looked like, you blinked.
Oh, he was electric.
Yeah.
Then again, Son of Max drawn 6, and Diamond Eclipse has drawn 7, and Julie Douglas has got 3 on the front line. So maybe it will push forward.
What did you make of Son of Mac last start?
What can you say? I
don't know.
They're planning on.
Whatever you like, I suppose.
They're planning on taking the horse to Queensland for the Winter Carnival. I don't know. I mean, based on the spec, you'd have to say he'd want to be winning this, wouldn't he, to go to Queensland?
I would imagine. Second row runners, Crime Rider. It's hard to work out where he's at.
Yeah, funny horse. Yep.
Well, he was once a very good horse, but
he was.
Rock and Roll Waller is stepping up in grade. If I had to have one on top selection, it would be him. But
it's hard. It's hard not to. His form's super consistent and super honest, which is not what we're getting at the moment from Son and Mac. So I agree with you. His form's actually very good, and the puppets on it. He stands out as the informed horse in the race.
Yeah, one of my old favourites, Dennis Williams, taking up from a break. Might take a bit more time.
Yep.
After going up to New South Wales. Haranya has got plenty of ability, but how much ground do you have to make up? Maybe 3 wide, 2, 3 back. Who knows? I've got a little possible bet in the race, but not overly. It's Jack O'Connor, 1/5.
Yep.
I have got a concern that Uwalista has to keep up to the point where, say, we're 3 poles. Where have I got it in the run? I think it's 3 poles that he gets an actual crack. But I tell you what, the horse is going well.
Yeah.
Well, have a look at these. He actually won 2 starts back.
Yes, when I think I asked you into that race, what do you make of Jack O'Connor? Back to its right class. But,
I remember that, Coach.
We can't have them all.
I'm going to save one for you later if you can do it to me. We both agree. Class-wise, he was in it up to his ears. But,
J-Bon, here's one of yours.
By 4 5.
I don't mind it. And the other one is, what do you think of Diamond Eclipse? I mean, it's that sort of race where anything could happen. You're going to get cricket score odds from out there in Barrier 7.
Will you, though?
Oh, well, maybe not. I thought you would.
I mean, it's one of those things, if you look at it like a thoroughbred race, and this is as thoroughbred-like as you will get, isn't it?
It is.
He's got class on probably 70, 80% of the runners. But I still just can't possibly work out a scenario where he'd win.
So I'm going to have something on Son and Mac if it's $5.50, like it is on harness.org.au bet. I'd almost back it if it was $4 plus in this kind of field, but I might not. I'm going to reserve my judgment until Saturday morning. I want to see what price Son of Mac opens before I decide whether or not I'm playing it. But then part of me says, really, if you just boil it all down, the on-top selection probably has to be Rock and Roll Waller. Hasn't done much wrong.
I know you had some great success, and the pro punters will tell you defy the drift and the odds and everything. But I feel, for me, to back Son of Mac, you would want to see some market enthusiasm. I almost wouldn't back it at 550, but if it was 550 into 280,
yeah. Well, then
you start to feel it.
Well, and then you realise, true, that's probably a sign of it having its Queensland ticket stamped once that money starts rolling in on the market. How are we playing the quaddies then, Jace? The pod quad, not our quaddies. We're going Clymenis.
Let's go.
Clymenis, yes.
Clymenis, yes, okay.
Caramar Solomona.
Yes.
All right. John McLean or Aussie Battler?
No.
Son of Mac?
Yes.
Diamond Eclipse?
No.
No. Jack O'Connor, yes.
Yes. Prime Rider, yes.
Prime Rider,
all
yes.
Of the rest. Maybe.
All right, put them all.
No, bugger it. You've stood over me a bit here. I'm just going to throw Dennis William in as well.
Yeah, put him in.
Everything.
Because it's that sort of race. So, all right, the pod quad's wide early, so we need a result early doors for the pod quad.
2, 3, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yep. Race 7.
Race
7's the Australian Pacing Gold Pace. We don't have a lot of APG pace races, Jace, so this is a nice name. And I like this race.
Do you?
Do you like this race? Because this strikes me as the sort of race you would like.
I do, but I just have a vibe, a sense that we like it for different reasons.
All right, well, let's call up your graphic. I believe you've got a bit of a pace setter profile here, and it's around
I'm Wesley. So, very quick beginner. Now, there is speed drawn inside. Let's not make bones about that. Let's not make anything osteo about that. But I think that I'm Wesley can get across, and 4 starts in front, 3 wins and a placing. So, the Sun and the Moon's got some early speed. Big Boy Mel's first up from a break. Stag Buddy begins okay, but I'm Wesley can really. So if it's in front, there's a reason to like it. And I've got I don't know, I've got a funny feeling that's the way. Is that what you like about it? Is it I'm Wesley?
No, I'm Wesley now, based on that graphic and your thoughts, would totally destroy my way of playing this race. But I'll have to back myself in and stick with it. Although we do reserve the right to change it right up till race morning. But I thought the Sun and the Moon would lead and take a stack of beating. And I thought a lot like Louis, therefore, in the trail, would basically be running second and be the major threat to the Sun and the Moon. And when I saw $5 available on harness.org, I thought, you beauty, that is a huge price for the Sun and the Moon. And I'd be happy to play it to win and some trifectas.
Okay.
Now Bon, 11... Yeah. The Sun and the Moon, 11 top 3 finishes from 14 starts. From 4 goes from the pole, 3 wins and a third. Okay, with most recent 3 wins being lead all the way from the pole. This horse has run second in the Nutrien final when chased home Luxa Turner, who's run second in New South Wales Oaks and multiple Group 1 winner. And it's bumped into Luxa Turner a couple of times in that series. Not a lot to dislike about the Sun and the Moon there from the poll. But if I'm
not according to what you just said, no, you've made a cogent, persuasive. I'll give you 2 scenarios.
Yep.
If you're right and the Sun and the Moon leads, and a lot like Louis is behind the leader, in my not so humble opinion, a lot like Louis is about $1.10 shot.
$1.10. So if you're running a market, you've put your board up, you're seriously saying it's $1.10 with the Sun and the Moon in front.
My only concern would not be a lot like Louis, but simply the Sun, which is based on nuclear fusion over here, and the Moon, where they went in 1969. Hang on, making sure we get to the lane.
So, okay. So if a lot like Louis, well, hang on. Yeah, your board, of course, you'd never have the board up because you're not saying the poll leads. So it'll never be $1.10 on the board.
Well, to be honest, the way I've read the race, and I'm not wildly confident about on Wesley leading, but Laura Wilson has to make a very concerted snap decision here about whether to follow through along the pegs or get off. Right now, maybe you can follow through for a little bit and then try and edge your way out if you're going to be 3 or 4 poles. If a lot like Louis ends up behind the leader, I've said this before, and not followed through it, I'd give up punting if it didn't win. It will win. And I'll tell you what, even if it doesn't work out that way, I still think it'll win.
Yep.
You remember, a lot like Louis last start, we both liked it.
We did. Got parked.
Our mate Menko, nice horse, running along all the way.
Stag
never
Party.
actually folded up.
Was Stag Party second? Maybe I got that wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, what was the mile rate? 156.4? Something similar? Yeah.
Maybe. I'm trying to call it up.
Call me maybe. Carly Ray Jepson. So
yeah, 155.6.
155.6. Right? But the performance was excellent.
Yep.
It has got heaps of class in these. It's going to go a lot further than every other horse in this race. So I would take. Now, I was going to take $2.20 or something like that, or $2.40. But if you're right here, I'd take anything. And actually, if you're an in-play better and the Sun and the Moon leads and you're behind the leader with a lot like Louis, just take whatever's available. It'll just win.
All right. Good stuff.
Do you honestly believe the Sun and the Moon will win if it's leading in Louis behind the leader?
I think it's a good chance of winning. My bet would have been a 1x5 play on the Sun and the Moon, and a trifecta with 1 and 8 to beat 3, 5, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then 1, 8 to beat 3, 5, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 1, 8. So 1, 8 with the 2 that I wanted in first and third positions.
Funnily enough, a couple of the best races for quality on Saturday night are races that we're not that keen on. So the first event, the Blacks Are Fake free-for-all, and then you've got a cracker, race 8.
This is a brilliant race.
Do I want to bet on it? Absolutely not.
No, me neither. It's the Ben Stud Standard Breeds 3-year-old pace. I don't think we necessarily need to go too much into it, Jace. Who, Bayer Biscay, do we agree, is clearly the horse with the most upside in the race?
Yes, I just want to quickly throw up at probably the most astonishing stat, though, of the entire night. Pace at a profile. Ravishing Sloy, who seems to like to lead and hand up in high-quality races, is 5 starts, 5 wins when leading.
Yeah.
Now, have they all been over the mile? Maybe they have been. But
I've got it in front here.
Yeah, I have too. Part of the question is, will he even get to the front? But if you look at a couple of his starts in Menangle, New South Wales, he's got incredible gate speed.
I think Netra's got enough speed to kick up early, and then Elusive will just run past it, which puts Netra initially behind the leader. Then Elusive will be grabbing hold because Sloy will just be charging straight across. I think there's 2 horses on the charge from out wide. It's Elusive from the middle and Ravishing Sloy. Netra's good enough to hold 3 pegs, and I think there's your map on your peg line. Yeah.
Is Tilly Jane quicker than we give it credit for? I can't see that it could get in between them.
No, I don't think it will. No, I don't think because I just think Greg will just hit the button on Ravishing Sloy. It is a nice horse. She's got character. She fights. She's a good horse. But yeah, my map was just seemingly obvious. 7 leads with 4 on its back. Netra 3 pegs. Bayer Biscay gets off the pegs, comes around. Our Luciano just holds up nicely on the pegs back in the field and will be charging late. I don't want to play the race because I've got a big opinion of Smoke and Ace as well. So I just leave this race alone and try and learn.
No bet for me, probably. Although the more we talk about it, Bayer Biscay, no trial, first up from a break, awkward draw, Ravishing Sloy in front, never beaten there.
Yep.
How much pressure? Maybe not a lot.
The next question,
I could be lured into Ravishing Sloy.
Yeah, are you keen to see a market then? So you can just see because if Ravishing Sloy's 360 or if it opens up $5 or something, that's tempting.
I'd need $3 or better, that's for sure.
Yep.
350 or something. Yeah.
Quaddy, pod quad.
Cool. Yep.
Elusive's out to $26 on .org.au from behind the leader.
7.
Yep.
8.
7, 8.
Anything else?
6. And that's it. Just give me one more chance on Smoking Ace. That last run wasn't bad.
Let's just play wide. I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
Is that all right?
Done. Yeah. It's the pod quad. It's the lottery quad. Anything could happen.
Just play wide. Race 9.
Hang
My
on.
Uncle Stan.
We never did the pod quad for the third leg.
That's important. I actually questioned whether we did or not.
So we've got to play the 1, even though you don't like it. We've got to play the 4 because of your stat.
8.
We've got to play the 8 because it'll be $1.10 if the 1 leads.
There's only one other.
That's it, isn't
Dukes?
it? Yeah, why not? The Herb's on it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Pod quad, $9,000 for 1.3%.
Race 9, the high gain pace final, Jace, 3 early scratchings, fantasy beats. Let's go, Big Girl and Willow Dean come out. What do you reckon?
Yes. Hang on, just hang on a moment. Race 9. Nah, don't like the race a lot, but I tell you what, Karama Olam was going to lead anyway, I reckon, but now it leads pretty easily. Question is it quite as good over a middle trip as a short trip? That's one that I had in my mind. And I actually came up with a weird little bet here. The heat run was ordinary, but Credulous behind the leader.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I've got a little stat for that one, actually. It's a funny one.
Let's have a look.
2 starts, gate 8. Inside the second row, 2 wins.
There you go.
Might mean nothing.
Well, it might mean nothing or it might mean something.
But 1 by 4, 1 by 5 again. We're talking about here.
Just let me have a look here. Yeah, so...
What does your Stanley do here?
Well, Greg Sugars is on too, so loses nothing there, obviously.
Yeah, that's big.
Loses nothing there at all. I reckon 3 leads, and I think 8's behind the leader.
We're great.
Yep.
Concurrence.
And then you look at your horses like Silver Mystique and My Uncle Stan, who are the class runners of this race. And all of a sudden, it's starting to look like Christmas. A lot like Christmas. It's starting to look a lot like a trifecta for me. I just don't know exactly where it lands.
Is that what a trifecta looks like?
It is. Because if you've got, I don't think 3 wins. The only win it's had was a protest win, funnily enough. I don't think it wins, but I think it gets to the lane and the straight in front. I think Credulous is a huge chance of
I thought it did win before I did the form a little bit more deeply. I did think it did win, but yeah, okay.
And then you've got, it won, but I think it was on protest, yeah?
Yeah. But I thought it wins it. When I first looked at the form.
Oh, sorry, I understood what you mean.
I thought you're the good horse off the front row.
Yep. And it still could well be. It's going to be in front. I just think that the 12's going really well, Silver Mystique, and is ready to win. Those last 2 runs have been terrific. And, of course, My Uncle Stan's in the black book, and it's going well. They're the 2 class runners. Yeah, let's see what Karama Olam can do. And Credulous is drawn well, but then is drawn to trail. And there's really nothing else I can make a case for, and therefore it becomes a trifecta race.
In what fashion? Talk me through the trifecta.
So you've got Karama Olam in front, Credulous behind the leader, right? You can nearly assume they're going to be somewhere in your top 3. Then you've got 12 and 13, who I believe to be the class runners of the race, right?
Yep.
And I've got a little something to say about Animato in the future, but I don't think it's here. I think it'll win very soon at any old odds, but not here. But I've got 4 horses with 2 of them leader behind leader and 2 of them with a big class edge. I don't know exactly how I'm going to put it together yet, but to me, there's a trifecta here. And it'll be in the game plan.
Might be the old Victor Bonington, my old man. Just box 4 in a trifecta.
Well, you could do, but I want to see the market because I can't have Olam 320 favourite. I think My Uncle Stan should be favourite, and I think Silver Mystique should nearly be second favourite. And Credulous won't be $21. It's a bit funny, this market.
Here's a quick query before we get on to the final event. Windsock has got a history of pulling, I believe.
Yep.
And My Uncle Stan does not have there's not a great body of evidence of him making a mid-race move to go to the breeze, I don't think. So how was he driven?
Well, but that's exactly, I don't know. But I think in this sort of race, maybe it will make the move earlier because
I think so.
Yeah, the race shape would suggest that
might not work out though.
Well, maybe not. But even if it doesn't, I still think it's good enough to be scorching into it and potentially over the top of them in the last 400.
All right, that's the way you're playing. I'm just thinking Karamat Olam, if it doesn't win, will still be in front with 70 metres to go.
Yep.
And so the horse behind it should find the podium.
I like it.
Final event?
Yeah, I've got no thoughts on the final event, to be honest. We've got Blanco Canyon and that Studley both scratched out of the Allied Trotters final. I couldn't see too much else here that I wanted to play. Jace, your thoughts?
There was one we liked a couple of weeks ago.
Berries and Cherries.
Look, I think there's only 2 winning chances. I don't mind this race. Over and Out and Berries and Cherries.
Yep.
Over and Out, I think, needs more luck. So I've got 3 best bets on the card.
Yep.
Maybe 2, depending on what happens with the old Hammerhead Shark. Hammerhead in race 2, a lot like Louis, and Berries and Cherries.
Berries
and Cherries will simply find a way to win this race.
I tend to agree. I like the horse, and I think it's got most of the others covered. It's a very nice horse.
No, Hammerhead's the best on the card. This would be the second best because we know it can roll around, sit parked.
Yeah,
it won't get tired. All the front row runners, you would nearly think if Donna Castle's put the foot down, the front might be there even. But it'll just be winning. Declaration job virtually on the Berries and also the Cherries. I prefer the Cherries over the Berries.
Yeah, I've got some cherries in the fridge at the moment, actually. Marnie picked them up at the supermarket, so
gorgeous.
Looking forward to those. All right, Berries and Cherries for Bond to finish. I don't have much to finish in the last, but I will have Berries and Cherries on top. We've got our pod quad. We'll have all the tips and plays up on pacesetters.au, Jace. You've named your best bets. My best, I am going to say Swizzle Stick for the place. I just love the price of $4.20.
Do you want me to throw the stat up again?
No, we can refer back to it, rewind, or just take our word for it if you're listening to the pod.
Well played, guys.
Anything more to add?
Bill. That's Buffalo Bill on your.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill on the hoodie this week. I loved these as a kid and still quite like them as an adult. Actually, great ice cream. $3.50 usually down at your local milk bar or.
How much were they when you were a stripling?
They would have been less than $2, I reckon, back in the day. What did you go? What was your go-to, Jace? Was it a?
No, I wasn't an ice cream man. I was an icy pole man. I am a Calippo freak.
See, Calippo's there. Our producer Jordan in the background here. He struggled to open the Calippo once. I remember as a kid, and Nana cracked the shits because Jordan couldn't open it as she's driving the Cortina. She's ripped the Calippo off him and she's tossed it out the side window as she's driving up Hamilton. And I'm sitting there in the passenger seat. And this Calippo has just gone swinging past my eyes and landed out on the footpath.
So that was basically a recreation of the Russian rider in Seinfeld when Elaine was trying to record
Exactly. That's what it was like. So J-Bond's a Calippo man.
Whoa, what is it good for?
We don't know how to open a Calippo in this family, so yeah.
And Super Dupers.
Oh, I love a Super Duper. Still got some in the freezer. All right, folks, that wraps us up for another tongue tie off. Get involved on the YouTube. Give us some comments. That helps the algorithm. And get involved in Twitter. We want to see the Trots conversation firing up.
God bless you all.
Let's see if we can have another win on Saturday night. Cheers, Bond. Good luck.